Morning and welcome to Faith Community Church, and we're glad you're here on Anniversary Sunday as we celebrate God's faithfulness to this congregation, to this faith family, from its beginning and up until today and into the future as God calls us and wills it into being. The last song, Here I Am, Lord, has been an anthem for this church from its beginning that has captured the heart of who we are. And so for 20 years, we have tried to answer this calling of acknowledging that we are here, that we are present, that we're willing to go wherever it is that God leads us to do whatever the task is that He calls us to perform in the sake of loving and serving all the children and all the people of the world. So it's fitting today that it's also the Anniversary Sunday coincides with the return of our students coming home from Copper Hill, Tennessee, where they've spent the week embodying this, laying out the hands and feet of Christ, representing Faith Community Church, and being stewards of the kingdom of God as He has called them to be. And so today, as part of this call into service and into being who we are at Faith, the students will be sharing small stories of their experience and of their trip to Copper Hill, Tennessee. And it fits in well with our theme. For every Anniversary Sunday, we always sign a new commitment for the year. This year is to serve God and to serve others. And so during communion, you'll have a time for each person that is here and a part of Faith Community that wants to commit to this year of serving God and serving others alongside Faith Community. We'll ask you to come forward and sign it. But before we get to that, I want to ask all of those who are here that went to Copper Hill this past week, if you all would please come forward. We had 19 who went, 15 students, 4 adults. Not all the students are here this morning. Families are busy and vacations and other camps and other things were going on. You guys can just create a line across here. Across the front right there. Most of you have showered, so you're not nearly as bad as you were when we dropped you off on Friday. Excellent. I'd have you count, Garrett, but I know we have too many holes. Sorry. So we went down to Copper Hill, Tennessee. This was part of a group called Team Effort. And Team Effort is a national ministry, actually international ministry, that sets up host cities, host communities, where they go out and, very similar to Serve Noblesville, they go out and kind of assess home repair projects that then groups can come from all over the country, and for a week they will join together in serving the community on helping with these projects. And so Copper Hill is one of their more popular camps because of its setting. We had 190 campers with us, joining us down there for the week. We start each morning at 7:15 with breakfast, and then we prepare, get our acts together with our tools and equipment, and then head out to the work sites. And we do a devotion there, kind of get the day rolling, and we work at our work sites until 4 p.m. 4 p.m. we take a break. Our schedule was to go back and get dinner by 5 p.m. And then after dinner, we would run down to the Ocoee River, where the Water Olympics were held in Atlanta in 1996. There's a couple of great swimming locations. And so we would go down there for 2 hours and swim every evening in what we called the watering hole, or what they call the blue hole. And so that was generally the schedule we had. We worked for 3.5 days. And then on Thursday, we ended at noon. This trip, we packed up and came up to Louisville to spend Friday at Kentucky Kingdom. We spent a couple of hours at Kentucky Kingdom before the storms rolled in on Friday, in which case we jumped in the vans and made our trek home for an early arrival and a chance to get some much-needed rest. This group, one of the best groups we've ever taken from the church. And part of that's reflective of the example and the witness and the mentoring that you all have provided. A number of you were prayer partners for each of these individuals, sending them 3 notes privately through the week, and then on Thursday night, the kids got their last card from you that revealed who their prayer partner was. That's always a very exciting and special moment in the trip. And so today we've just asked them to share one meaningful takeaway that they're coming home with from the trip, and then also a funny or an enjoyable story that that they had and they experienced. We laughed a lot, and we had a lot of great stories. Some of this you may not understand, so that's an invitation for you to meet up with these kids, take them out for a Coke or a milkshake, and hear more about some of the stories that they're going to share and dig a little bit deeper in what's going on. So with that being said, Jada is going to kick us off. So Jada, let them know your name. Guys, let them know your name. Let them know what grade you're going into, how many trips you've been on so far with our church, and then share your meaningful story and then your fun, entertaining takeaway.
Well, I'm Jada. I'm an incoming freshman, and I've been on 3 trips to Copper Hill. My meaningful story was probably Thursday night, and Karen decided to make all of us cry with a little letter that had Becky Aberly painted on the front. And I was really upset because we were missing Thursday chapel, and that's my favorite chapel, but we didn't need it because that was just really good and really cool. And then my funny story was Russell, who's a 7-year-old. I'll let you explain it, Garrett.
I'm Liam. I am going into 7th grade, and the story that I'll take away was probably, this is my first trip, and then what I'll take away was probably getting to see the family using everything that we made, and yeah, I like that. And then something fun was the watering hole. That was fun.
I'm Max. I'm going to be a freshman, and this was my 3rd trip to Copper Hill. I think my important moment was I feel like I just got closer to God on this trip. I didn't come to this church much my first trip, and now I'm just closer. And my fun moment was getting ownership of Diglett's water slide.
I'm Asher. I'm going to be an 8th grader. This is my 2nd trip to Copper Hill. And I'm probably going to take away that you can always trust God in difficult moments from one of the stories that was shared at chapel. And my funny story was probably our haunted hotel room.
My name is James. I'm going to 8th grade, and this is my 2nd Copper Hill trip. Something I'll take away is knowing that we did good work for the family we work for and knowing how to help them. And a funny moment was when I figured out Megan Miller was my prayer partner from church. In parentheses, I would write to her, but I won't talk to her.
That's a good policy to have anyway, James.
I'm Hines. This is my first trip to Copper Hill. I'm going to 6th grade, and I'm going to take away of how nice the Wattersons were to us. And what? Oh, Waters, not Wattersons. Whoops. And the funny moment that I'm going to take away is probably Francis.
My name is Kate. This is my first trip with the youth. I'm going into 6th grade. My meaningful takeaway was the chapels. They were really good every night. And my funny story is about Earl. We were walking past the pond one day, and Emily was commenting on how boring the pond looked. And all of a sudden I hear, "Rrrt," and I run. Turns out there was this frog in the pond, and apparently he doesn't like it when Emily says bad things about his pond.
My name's Amanda. I'm going to be a sophomore this year, and what was it? How many years? Oh, I've gone to Copper Hill. This is my 3rd year, and my favorite story has to be the letter that I got from Karen, which made 3 of us cry. And the funniest story would have to be the ladder that Jada got on and I was holding.
Hi, I'm Garrett. I'll be a senior this year. I've been on 3 trips to Copper Hill. The meaningful story was from First Night's Chapel, and Nick was the director of the camp, and he was like, everyone there was called to serve, but there was also a different reason that everyone was there, so I'm trying to figure out why I was actually there. Funny story was Russell. So the first night we went downtown Copper Hill, we went to El Rio, and after we left, a red truck pulled up in the parking lot, a kid gave me a desk stare in his truck, and he gave me a thumbs down. He did a little magic trick to me, and he waved his hand, and all of a sudden, the middle finger came out. I was flipped off by a 7-year-old.
My name is Mike, and this is my second year for going to Copper Hill. And my meaningful,
Mike, what grade are you going into?
I'm done with school. And my meaningful takeaway was seeing the faces of the people that we were working for, the homeowners. I believe that they saw God and how well this group got along and worked so hard for them. And when we was at the campsite, what do you call that, camp?
Camp? Yeah.
Camp, we would do some, but the buffalo and then the potato song. And I was watching the people that were watching us, and they just were amazed at what we were doing. It was just having a blast, having fun. And my funny part was, well, it's kind of painful for me, but it was the first morning I was going to get up. The showers were like two buildings down. I forgot there was a little gap between the floors. It was dark. I was walking, my foot caught the gap. I went down so hard, I think I woke everybody up.
I'm Jeremiah. I'm going to be junior. This was my second Copper Hill trip, and the meaningful part to me is I got to talk with the person we were working for. His name was Wendell, and he kept on telling me that just our conversation just made his day, and it reminded me how far a conversation can go. And my funny part would also be Francis. There was this kind of noise going on in the van. Then Emily said, "Oh, it sounds like an insane chipmunk." So we decided.
I'll tell him about. Go ahead. I'll tell him about how Francis.
All right. So then we had to come up with a backstory for Francis. He was the abandoned one of the Alvin and the Chipmunks. Dave just didn't want him for some reason. Yeah, he had a twin. I forget the twin's name. Francesca. Yeah. His friend was quiet, but Francis was. He was crazy.
The reason we got Francis is I was driving the big white van, and I hit this humongous pothole. That's when Francis came aboard.
So my name is Sullivan, and this is my first mission trip to Copper Hill, and I'm going into 7th grade. My takeaway is probably if you do a little bit of work for people, they just really enjoy it, and it makes their day. And then my fun part was probably going down the 13-story water slide and getting a huge wedgie.
My name is Emily. This is my first trip with Faith. As for what grade I'm going in, I'm getting ready to go into 7th grade for the 13th time. Woohoo! My funny moment would have been the very first morning. I'm in bed, hadn't slept very well, and I'm in that weird place between being drowsy and awake, and Jada Probst comes over and scares me awake, and all she did was just say, "Emily." And I just jump out of the bed, frightened out of my wits, because she's very scary in the morning if you haven't had that experience. My takeaway and the important moments for me would be all of our moments of laughter that we had on this trip. I don't really like talking about what happened at my school on May 25th. It's very difficult for me to talk about it. And even though it's been almost 2 months, I'm still processing and wrestling with what happened and the effects of that. And so just being able to be with these kids for a week and laughing with them was just a great reminder that all that laughter helps to show that God is indeed good.
I'm Jenna. This is my 3rd trip to Copper Hill. And my husband would be very disappointed in me if I didn't say I'm a forever student in the School of Hard Knocks. um, my meaningful takeaway is just there wasn't a day that didn't go by that I didn't get a comment like, your kids are the best. They're so good, they're so hardworking, they're hilarious, which we knew already. But the first day we were playing one of our games and the girl that came up says, oh my gosh, I hope you're our group. I hope I'm your leader, and we weren't, so she was very sad and she told me all week long. So this group of kids is just amazing. And my funny moment and many moments throughout the whole trip is I got to learn that Kate Bishop talks in her sleep. And sometimes it scares the you-know-what out of you. Oh, you do.
You learn a lot about people when you live with them in close, tight quarters for a week, sometimes more than you want to know. You can cycle through the pictures on the screen while I do the awards. One thing I always do at the end of these trips is I like to give out unique awards to the members of the trip based on something that happened or their character or the way that they worked. And so you'll also notice that in these pictures, Kate Bishop is void or hidden from most of them. It seemed like any time it became picture time, Kate would kind of wander off into a non-picture space. So it's what it is. But she was always with us. At least that's what I'm telling her parents. Here are the awards for this year's 2018 Copper Hill Award, or Copper Hill trip. In honor of Proverbs 31, this is awarded to Amanda Godby for being able to be trusted without reserve, never spiteful, up and ready to go each morning for the work ahead. She was wise with her money, quick to assist anyone in need. She had a passion and a love for God, and these attributes that she displayed on the trip describe a God as explained in Proverbs 31. Amanda? Great job. I've got to fix an error on yours, but I'll get it to you. And then I'm going to ask the students if you guys would sign the poster first. After you get your awards, we'll let you guys get your names on it for the first time. The Esther Award is given to Jada Proke. For such a time as this is the iconic phrase of Esther when she is challenged from her uncle to save her people from a genocide in Scripture. Now, while Jada's zeal wasn't quite as life-threatening, Jada exercised her passion to make sure the trip had the elements that were needed to express and engage the experiences of life and faith that this trip offers. The honor of I Am Positive Award is given to James Fouch. A constantly positive and pleasant spirit. It is really all that needs to be said of him. Throughout the trip, James was always calm and positive. He was unwavering in his attitude, his example, and his work. Always smiling, James was a pleasure and a joy to have with us again on the trip. Thank you, James. The honor of the Little Big Man Award is given to Liam Shepard. Doing his weight and work, Liam showed that size should never be undervalued. Liam worked tirelessly and with great commitment on his projects this week. He was always willing to do whatever was needed to be done with excitement and with effort. Thank you, Liam. The honor of Blind Faith, this is one of the students that's not here this morning. The honor of Blind Faith Award is given to Sebastian Smith, who's my nephew. Sebastian joined last minute when a spot opened up. He joined a group of people he barely knew, going places he'd not heard of, to do things he wasn't sure of. And yet, despite all the uncertainty, he brought a positive attitude and willingness to join in, regardless of the uncertainties. It's another student that's not here. This is in honor of the PB&J Award that was given to Lane Starr. With enthusiasm, lots of enthusiasm and determination, Lane showed us time and time again what the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich should look like. She willingly offered to make group sandwiches each day for lunch and did an exceptional job with what one would consider a very mundane task. The honor of the Tested and True Award is given to Garrett Collins. James 1 speaks faith that is tested to a point where it precedes truth and reliability. As Garrett was the senior veteran leader on this trip, he showed steadfast leadership and responsibility both in his effort, humor, friendship, and faith. Great job on another great year at Copper Hill. 2 thumbs up. Another student that's not here this morning, the honor of 100% award is given to Fisher Starr. Fisher always had a smile on his face and is always enjoying his time with others. He interacts and engages with those that are around him. He worked hard. He played hard. Fisher was a go-getter who just needed to know his assignment before he tackled it head on with his determination and, of course, his Breckenridge ball cap. Our last student, I think, that's not here this morning, the SBD Award, the Silent But Determined Award, is given to Lily Massengale. These trips are exhausting, even more so for those who are introverted, as Lily is. Lily showed up with grace and strength and poise throughout the trip. She worked with her team, hanging siding, getting crammed into a 15-passenger van for hours on end, and a busy schedule that allowed for little downtime. And despite all this, she shared with us her pleasant demeanor and spirit. The Off the Rail Award is given to Jeremiah Broadhead. Jeremiah showed leadership all week by leading teams as they built and secured railing on the ramps, the porches, built for the Waters family. Measuring, cutting, leveling, nailing, Jeremiah helped the team complete the tasks while showing and helping them to complete the job well done and learning and letting others learn and try new skills. Thanks, Jeremiah. The Mr. Teenager Award is given to Asher Probst. Asher hit a major milestone on his trip by turning 13 last Sunday. This milestone was shared with 18 of his closest friends. In loving and serving God with his heart, his mind, and his strength as he continues to grow in wisdom and stature in life and in faith. The honor of Stretch Armstrong is awarded to Kate Bishop. Her first mission trip, first trip away from her family for the amount of time, first time swimming in the Ocoee River, and many, many more firsts. Kate experienced a whole new world and did it with an attitude and adventure and joy most of the time. She was stretched beyond her level of comfort, not recoiling, but growing with each opportunity that presented herself. Great job, Kate. This is the honor of Van Evacuation Award is given to Heinz Probst. Heinz helped to make sure that everyone could safely and quickly evacuate the 15-passenger van in case of an emergency. Using his natural gifts and abilities, he was moved, and in his movement, everyone else moved and gasped for air. And he's wearing a very perfect shirt. Our Rookie of the Year, we always have our first-year students that we look at, and in general, usually the awards are pretty easy because there's an odd element that sticks out for everyone. This group was so tight-knit, and they were all 100% all week in so many things. It made it very difficult to come up with unique awards because any of them could have gotten any of the awards. But we always look at our first-year participants, and we look at who just kind of was a little bit better than everyone else. And so this year's Rookie of the Year goes to Sullivan Broadhead. His first summer mission trip with a group that he knew very little or nothing at all of, Sullivan integrated himself in the work and the community of the group. He made new friendships, showed initiative, leadership, maturity, and camaraderie. Thanks for being the Rookie of the Year, bud. And then the last student award that I give is always dedicated to my friend Mark Aberly. I do it in honor of all the work and the leadership and the passion that Mark gave to each and every one of the students, part of the ministry of this church. Each trip, one of the students rises to the top in their hard work and their determination on the work site that reminds me of my friend Mark. Max Shepard embodied the spirit at which Mark approached projects, people, faith, and life. But wait, there's more. I also like to recognize our leaders. They give, most of them have to take time off of work to come and do this. They take time away from much more comfortable sleeping arrangements and much better smelling lifestyle with a much better diet than what we experience at camp. And so I'd like to give out these awards. In honor of the Catwalk Award, I'd like to give this to Mike Godby. Right Said Fred was too sexy for the catwalk in his hit from the 90s, but Mike Godby rocked the walkboards this week while repairing and hanging new soffits and fascia board on the home. His level of sexiness while doing it, well, I'll let Darla decide that. But I want to thank Mike for balancing for the team and for helping get the job done. Thank you. The honor of Swiss Army Knife Award is given to Emily Denny. The Swiss Army Knife of our adult leaders, Emily was willing to do whatever was needed during the trip to help accomplish what was needed. Be it navigating, hang sighting, assist with swimming, clean cabins, whatever it was, Emily was willing to jump in and help get the group where it needed to go and to get the things done and to encourage us when we needed the support. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Jenna Yardley is given the Old Dog New Trick Award. You learn new skills on this trip that also goes for leaders. Jenna learned how to hang siding, use power tools, and more as an adult leader. In addition, she also learned or relearned all that it takes to plan and organize a trip like this. So thank you for your learning spirit and be willing to step into the unknown once again. I want to give ask for a special round of applause for Jenna for putting all the time and energy and effort to make this trip happen. Thank you. Great job. Jenna? As I said, it is Anniversary Sunday. Our theme for until next Anniversary Sunday, will be Serve God and Serve Others. It's something we embody with our theme Hands and Feet, of God in the world, of what we try to do as a church. That we don't just want to be another chapel that sings nice songs on Sunday morning, but we want to be actually the embodiment of what the kingdom is, serving and loving the people that are in this community, that are in the community that we live in, but also to the ends of the earth. And so this morning, we will be inviting and asking you to come forward and to sign the poster that shows your commitment for the next year to serve God and serve others. It'll be up here during communion, so as you come up and partake of the elements, we ask each individual as they feel led to put their signature on this sheet. Would you stand and join me in a word of prayer as we pray over these kids and we look forward to the next year? God, again, we thank you for everything that you provided to make this such a fantastic week. We thank you for the safety we had in travel, the safety we had in working on the work sites and the tools that were there. God, we thank you for joy and laughter and friendship that were discovered and reignited among this group. We thank you for the example and the witness that we were able to give to the people that we interacted with, people that saw us, people that we left an influence and an impact with that we may not even know or realize. God, we thank you for a church family that embodies and lives this out day in and day out as they lean on one another and as they practice their faith, that this becomes a very natural movement for our students because they see it and they experience it regularly through this faith community. God, I thank you for your faithfulness for 20 years as a church. I pray that you would continue to guide and direct and lead us as we continue to work and minister in the world and in this community. God, thank you for your blessings, and thank you for your grace, and thank you for each and every person who has helped to make Faith Community the reality and the blessing that it is in our lives. And all these things, we give you thanks. Amen. I'm going to say a blessing, and then we're going to go right into Anniversary Sunday lunch. Please stick around. We're going to have plenty of food and a great conversation to be a part of that. Next Sunday is the last opportunity for you to get your order in for Faith Apparel, so get that ordered in online. Blessing of the backpacks is next Sunday morning. Students, bring your backpacks to church. We're going to give you a token to put on there. and we're going to give you a blessing as you begin your school year, and then we will celebrate next Sunday evening with our baptism out at the Lewis household. We'd love you to come out and remember your baptism, as well as celebrate those who are getting baptized next week. If you didn't get a chance to sign the poster during the service, you can do that afterwards during the lunch, but would you please stand so I can give you a blessing for the meal and a blessing for your week. May God bless you as you go through your week, and may you see opportunities all around you where you can serve God through serving of others. May your stomachs be blessed with the amazing meal, and your souls be blessed with a great friendship and fellowship that is shared in the conversation following this service. And may we continue to raise up generations that serve God and serve others in their homes, in their communities, and to all ends of the earth, as God gives us the resources and the blessings to do so. May God be with you. Go in God's peace.